welcome to WION. So great to have you. What does the Philippine president's visit hope to achieve coming out of everything that's been happening in the region?
Yeah, well, Ferdinand Marcos Jr., first off, he wants to get a clear, ironclad, eye-to-eye, firm commitment from Joe Biden that the U.S. is going to have the Philippines back when it comes to this controversy in the South China Sea, which, as you said, China claims almost all of it. China's got overlapping claims in the South China Sea with several different countries, including a portion that overlaps with claims from the Philippines. We should stress, though, that China's claims, where they claim almost the entire South China Sea, well, an international tribunal has ruled those claims as baseless, but we are where we are. And then, of course, we have that standoff just last week, as you mentioned, between the Chinese Coast Guard and a Philippine Coast Guard, where the Chinese boat cut off the Philippine patrol boat. And the Philippines says, look, this has been going on, just like similar situations has been going on for years. So the Philippines, they do not have a Navy or a Coast Guard that can come anywhere near the force of the Chinese Navy. So they need the U.S.'s help. The U.S. and the Philippines have talked in the past about possibly resuming joint patrols. So, whether or not we're going to get that firm commitment towards joint patrols, if that's going to come out of today, maybe not. But clarity, Marcos Jr. wants clarity and a firm commitment from Biden that he's going to have the Philippines back. That's one. Two, the Philippines, they also want to modernize their military. They've got a weak military. They want more modern weapons, modern fighter jets, missiles, and so forth. And they want them at an affordable cost. So those are some of the things here that Ferdinand Marcos Jr. is really hoping to get out of this meeting with Biden today.
And Dave, for the United States, so much depends on Taiwan. How does the Taiwan issue factor in this trip?
Yeah, well, here's the thing. Under Ferdinand Marcos Jr.'s predecessor, Rodrigo Duterte, who left office less than a year ago, the Philippines, they basically, pushed away the West and embraced China. And Rodrigo Duterte, he didn't make a big fight about these issues in the South China Sea. He basically stood down on the South China Sea dispute and tried to strengthen ties with China, hoping that he would get more investment. There were a lot of pledges from Chinese investment, but a lot of people in the Philippines felt that China made those pledges but did not actually follow through. Now we're seeing a shift, and we're seeing the Philippines under Marcos Jr. strengthen security ties with the U.S., which obviously has China very concerned. The Philippines just a few weeks ago agreed to give the U.S. access to 4 more military sites, bringing the total to 9 military sites in the Philippines that the U.S. will have access to. Several of those point towards Taiwan. But here's the thing here. Filipinos are very concerned that if there were a war to break out over Taiwan, they see that as somebody else's fight. And they don't want to see the U.S. launch attacks into that area coming from their bases, because they're afraid that that could lead to these sites in the Philippines becoming targets for China. Again, only if there were to be a war breaking out over Taiwan. So Marcos Jr. has said that he will not allow offensive actions to come from any sites in the Philippines. They can only be for defensive. He's basically saying that, hey, if China doesn't attack us, they don't have to worry about any sort of offensive action here. But again, Taiwan, very much a factor in these discussions because the Philippines is less than 200 kilometers from Taiwan.
Very interesting. A concern that many other countries in the region have as well when it comes to Taiwan. Dave Grunbaum, thank you so much for joining us on WION and for your excellent analysis. I hope to speak to you very soon.
Thank you.